Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk to you for a second about, I'm going to say it's kind of a thorny issue. I'm a lawyer. I've done estate planning for 40 years, taxes, asset protection, that sort of stuff. But how do you approach this with mom and dad? I mean, mom and dad, you've got to do it. Mom and dad have got to do it. Your kids have got to do it. You want your kids to do it so that the grandkids are protected by their guardianship provisions and stuff, so that the court doesn't end up giving the kids away to a truck driver in Texas. And yes, I actually had that case. Mom and dad, grandma were killed. Grandma and grandpa want to raise the grandkids. Everybody wants the grandkids. They gave them to a truck driver in Texas that kids never seen before. So they need to be protected. That means your kids have got to do the estate planning. Mom and dad, they're going to die one of these days. And if they don't have the estate planning, you're stuck with a mess, a big mess. If they do have the estate planning, it can make it a lot easier. The living revocable trust will avoid probate for you. You've got to know how to use it. You got to have the trust, obviously, and then you've got to know how to use it. Just getting the piece of paper doesn't do it. And the lawyers just give you the piece of paper, and then everybody goes through probate anyway. So you pay the big bucks up front for the trust, and then when mom and dad die, you're back to the probate. So we want you to be able to talk to mom and dad about this, and it's a thorny issue. They don't know what to do. If they don't know what to do and they're a book reader, get my book, Protecting Your Financial Future. I'll give it to you for half off. Just get it in their hands. But I'm not a reader. I would never read it. So how do you approach mom and dad with the discussion during the holidays or at the birthday dinner or whenever it is? You basically have to say, I'm doing this, you ought to do it too. That's the easiest way to do it. And if they can see that you did it, they'll say, okay, maybe we ought to do it. And so you say, I can help you do it. No problem. We can get it done. It'll be easy. You don't have to sweat it. I don't have to know anything about it. And the problem is some parents don't want their kids to know what they're inheriting. And it is a point, because the kids, once they figure out that they're inheriting something, they just sit around like vultures waiting for mom and dad to die. So, okay, I don't need to know what it is, but please do this, mom and dad, so that we don't have a big mess when you die. We don't have to pay everything out in lawyers' fees. That's one thing mom and dad don't want to do. So bring up that it's going to cost, on average, 3% of the gross value of their estate in legal fees. If they have a bigger estate, they definitely need to do it for estate tax purposes. And if you're in, I'm just going to say, if you're in a blue state, all blue states have estate taxes, basically, except California. Those are a lot lower than the federal tax right now. So if you're in one of those blue states, we need to do it for estate taxes. You don't want to give the government 16, 18, 20%, whatever your state is. The federal's 14%, 40%. And basically today it's if you have over $14 million. Most people don't. So I'm not worried about federal estate tax. I could be worried about state estate taxes, but I'm definitely worried about the lawyer, him sucking everything out. And the lawyers are suckers. And they'll take you every time. My grandson went to school this last fall, and the teacher says, what does your grandpa do? And he says, well, he's a lawyer. And the teacher said, honest? And my grandson said, no, he's just a regular one. But anyway, the lawyer will get you, and they don't want the lawyer to get them. So we're going to avoid the mess. We're going to not pay the lawyer. We're going to save all the taxes on the estate tax if there's over to $14, $20 million, whatever it is. It's 14 in 20, basically it's 13,600,000 in 2024. But it goes up each year. So we're going to save the estate tax. We're going to save it if it's more likely the state estate tax. And like I said, the easiest way is to say, look, I did this. I had this great book. I read it. It told me what to do. Or I know what to do. I've done it. I can help you. And the funny thing is, you and your wife's husband trust is going to look like mom and dad's trust. They're going to be basically the same document. I've got all the documents for you. I've been doing this for 40 years. I teach people how to do their own trust. I have a kit. It's called the Trust Kit. I'll give it to you for 50% off. Just get mom and dad to do it. And like I say, the easiest way is to say, I did it. It's not bad, mom, dad. You can do it. But if you sit and lecture mom and dad, they're going to rebel. Funny thing, kids do that. Mom and dads do that too. So you're basically going to have to lead by example. That's the best way I've figured it out. The other way, point out that we're going to save the lawyer's fees and point out that we're going to save the government fees. Those have nothing to do with each other, but mom and dad don't want to pay either one of those. They would rather see you get it than have the lawyer or the government get it. So sit down, talk to them casually over the birthday dinner or the holiday dinner or whenever it is, and just say, have you done this? Can I help you do it? We got to get it done. And I'll make you promise, and you can make mom and dad the same promise. I'll guarantee you it's worth every effort you make, every dime that you spend, just in the peace of mind. For you and for mom and dad. And you can make that guarantee to them. Look, subconsciously you worry about this. Mom and dad, let's get it done. Then you don't have to worry about it. It's over with. And if they really think about it, yes, they have worried about this if they haven't done it already. Now, if they do have a trust, then you say, okay, does it own the bank account? If it doesn't own the bank account, it's not going to avoid the probate. Mom and dad got screwed. That's the polite way of saying it. The lawyer took advantage of them. If it doesn't own the bank account, if it doesn't own the property, it's got to own all the assets. And by the way, it's got to own your assets too. So does it own the assets? If they've already got a trust, ask them that. I'm not asking how much you've got in your bank account. I'm not asking how many properties you've got or nothing like that. But the trust has to own anything that you have to sign your name for. If the trust owns it, then it doesn't go through probate. If the trust doesn't own it and the dead guy has got to sign their signature, it's probate. So we want to avoid probate. And we want to cut the estate taxes, either the state estate taxes or the federal estate taxes. So we want to do those two things, and we want to provide the peace of mind, and it really is a big deal. I had a secretary. She was actually the first secretary I ever had, and she brought her mother in. This lady had been widowed for about 10 years, and I had to talk like a Dutch uncle to get this lady to do a trust. I gave her a single trust that she was single. I've got single trusts for you. I've got single mails. I've got everything on the audio files where I instruct you how to do it, and then I've got everything on the electronic files too. Anyway, we did the trust for her. And 4 or 5 months later, the secretary comes to me and she says, Lee, what did you tell my mother? I didn't know. I had no idea. She said, Mom is like she was before Dad died. She hasn't been like this for 10 years. She's happy, she's talking, she's doing all kinds of things. I didn't understand. It took me quite a while to figure it out. You worry about this. Mom and Dad worry about this. This estate planning stuff. Once you do it, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You go on. It's worth every effort, every dime, just in the peace of mind. Now, I have a trust kit out for you. It has audio instructions so that I walk you through how to do all the trusts. It has all the trusts on electronic files so that you don't have to type anything. You do have to feed your name and your address and all of that stuff. And I actually have different variations of the trusts. And I have different variations of the paragraphs. So you can go in and basically customize the trust for yourself. But I walk you through it on the audios, like I say. The trust kit, you've listened to this audio, we'll give it to you for half price. I want to see you get this done. I want to see it. Just go to the link below and you can get it half price. It'll give you the coupon and whatever it does. I don't even know what it does. But get it done. That's the bottom line.